What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin with God, Family, and Everything Else podcast. And today I wanted to talk about prayer, which I like to call coffee time with the Lord, meaning that, it's a good time to sit down with God every day. Find time out through your day, sit down with Him, pray for any concerns or any types of temptations that you may be feeling or you might be facing that is making you want to do something you should not be doing, or just that you having some sort of a struggle. But what I find that is very important that we bring it to the Lord and ask Him to help you fight this temptation or whatever the struggle you may have. I call it coffee time because you get to sit down with God, talk with Him, share your day, any concerns or any joys or any types of praise you want to give Him. It's very important that we do that. We stay in constant communication with Him every single day, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. The Lord deserves our time. And I know we have like a busy day and we have a lot going on, but I've always made a promise to my family. I always told them that I will never be too busy to be with them. I will never be too busy for my family. And we should always look at it that way with the Lord. We should never be too busy with God. Too busy for God. We should always make time for Him because He's done and He continues to do so much for us. So that is why in the Bible it talks about we should always pray. And that doesn't mean like you just lock yourself in a room and you just pray 24 hours. No, it doesn't mean that. Which you could, which isn't bad, but the Lord wants us to also have our life that we can live, and then you wouldn't have an opportunity to share the gospel if you just locked yourself away and pray. But we should always talk to the Lord. Find times to talk to Him no matter what, and we should never cease praying. And it says in 1 Thessalonians 5:17, pray without ceasing. So continue to pray. That can be anywhere, in your car, at your job, while you're on the run, at the gym. It doesn't matter. But like I said, this is coffee time with God, just sitting down, enjoying each other. You know what? Grab a cup of coffee, or whatever your favorite drink is, and just sit down and then just talk. You don't have to close your eyes. You don't have to put your hands together or anything like that, but you have to be conscious and meditate, meaning just put your complete focus on God. Try to get away all kinds of distractions throughout the day or around you. So that's why they say it's good to put yourself in a room that can get you away from distractions. Because I know for me, I have some kind of distractions whenever I pray, whenever family's around, because my boys, sometimes they ask, but now when they see that my eyes are closed and they're like, Papa, oh, don't say anything. But, the TV's going or they're asking their mom something. So it's kind of hard to focus on what you want to talk to the Lord about. So that's why for me, it's a good time in the morning when my family's still asleep. I can sit down. It's completely quiet. I get ready before I head to the gym, but I sit down and I talk to God and I pray and I thank Him for everything, and I appreciate and I ask Him for wisdom, guidance, understanding, so I can do better being a follower of Him, a better husband, a better son, a better father, and a better employee. So just a better person in general than I was previously. I also let Him know, that I'm sorry for the things that I've done that has made me fallen short of His glory. Whatever sins that I've committed, or even the sins that I didn't know that I committed. It's good that we do that, not just so you can be like, okay, I've done that, check, perfect, start the day. But no, it's important that you let God know that you're sorry, that you want to change, that you want to be better, that you recognize that you're not perfect, and that we recognize that we need Him. When you do that, it encourages you to be a better person, a better follower, and it makes it easier for you to live out your day and then to question any types of temptations or sins that may be creeping your way that before you would just fall into. Now you can recognize it right away, and then you can quickly pray to the Lord and say, hey, Lord, I'm facing this challenge. Please help me, provide me the strength so I can, push this challenge away. So when we never cease to pray, when we continue praying like we should, internally we start to change. And so I've learned that with myself when I'm sitting there with God in the morning. I find it very important. I'm like, okay, so I start off my morning, I grab everything that I need, my water, my pre-workout, all that, and I sit down. And then while I'm doing that, I have like Sports Center going and everything. But then when I'm ready to sit down, then I turn it off and I sit there and I pray and I talk to God. No matter how long it may take me, I try to cover as much as I can. But then, there are times you're going to leave things out, but God wants to hear from our heart, not from our lips. He wants to hear from our heart. And I think it's great that we do that, because like I said, it builds that strong relationship, that strong bond, that strong fellowship. And then you can also encourage others on how to pray. And reading the Bible, there is good instructions on a reminder on how we should pray as well, how we should talk to God. We shouldn't treat him like we should align with his will. I'll say that. Prayer is to have have us change, have us align with God's will, not God to align with our will. It doesn't work that way. But, it's a work in progress. The Lord sees that. He understands that. As long as our hearts are in the right place and he sees that we're trying to change, I know we're going to be struggling a little bit, but it's important to him that he sees that whenever we sit down with them. Even if you don't know what to say, you can just say, Lord, be honest and be like, I don't know how to pray. I don't know what to say, Lord. So, just be thankful for what the Lord continues to do and what he's done in the past. And then just ask the Lord, say, if I can't say it, Lord, please help me, find the right words through time. Find the right words on how to talk to you. It's that simple. God even says, it shouldn't be hard to come to him. He's like, whenever I'm at a job and my manager always says, like, I have an open door policy. So whatever you want to say, just come right in and just sit down and talk. I'm willing to hear it. And that's how God operates. He has an open door policy. He's like, hey, talk to me. I want to talk to you. Whatever concerns, whatever joys, whatever you want to say and get off your chest, whatever you want to get off your heart. My door is always open. It's never going to be shut for you. And I find that very encouraging, and it's awesome that God is like that. We don't deserve it. We don't deserve it one bit. It's kind of like, yeah, it's, when you sit back and you actually think about all that the Lord has done. I mean, I'm going to say this in every message, is that God came down as Jesus, human form, fully God, fully man. Jesus, to take away the sins of the world, just so we can have that opportunity to come and talk to him, to have that open door policy. It says in the beginning of John, Gospel of John, it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The Word is Jesus, and he came here so we can build that bridge that was separating us. So imagine, you can just be like, just sit down and imagine, right? Like I said, coffee time with God, prayer time, conversation. Just imagine that you're like, hey, Lord, I know I can talk to you anytime, but I'm looking forward to talking to you tomorrow. All right. So I whenever I wake up, I would love to talk to you. So it's like when I wake up, it's like when I'm walking, imagine I'm walking to a coffee shop. The Lord is sitting right there on the couch and he sees me and he's like excited to see me, excited to have that conversation with me. And I sit down and we're just chopping it up. We're talking. We're talking. Together we are talking. And I'm telling him everything on how awesome he is. And the Lord is telling me that how much he knows me. He's telling me, I have plans for you. All you have to do is just trust what I say and trust what I do. I mean, you sitting there just drinking I just drink black coffee, but imagine the Lord just drinking coffee with you. But you guys are being completely chill with each other. And then, of course, God will be honest. He will tell you like it is. He will tell you also. I would love for the Lord to tell me, hey, you're not doing what I'm asking you to do. I don't like what you're doing, and I know you can change. That's why I made you, so you can have that ability to change. I'd rather have God tell me that. It's like constructive criticism. He's like, hey, I'm building you up, but you need to change. You need to do this. Can God get angry? Yes, and he has every right to be. But he's our Father, and he loves us. And it's just like whenever you're telling your kids, you tell your kids whenever they're bad, but then you reassure them that you love them and you're doing it for this reason. Because you want them to have a great future. You want them to have a great life. The Lord wants us to continue his plan. But how can we do that if we keep disobeying or not doing what's right? So when we're in that conversation, he's sharing that in his word with us. He's saying, look, what you're doing is not right. You need to recognize what you're doing. Ask for my help. And then I can guide you to where you need to be. But if you don't want to listen, I'm going to allow some things so you can learn the hard way. And that's what my mom used to always call tough love. Let things happen. But why'd you let that happen? See, I told you. Don't imagine God like that, but it's true. It's kind of like tough love. The Lord allows things to happen just so it can mold us into trusting him. So when we sit down with the Lord, be open, be honest, and be willing to change. It's not going to happen overnight. It will take a process, but as long as the Lord sees where your heart's in the right place, he will be there. He will continue working in your life. So what kind of coffee time are you going to have with the Lord? Are you going to do it in the morning, lunch, afternoon, night, at work, at the gym? Doesn't matter. How are you going to have a conversation with the Lord, and what time are you going to set aside for him, because he deserves it? All right. Well, thank you for listening to G.F.E podcast. My name is Kevin. Can't wait to see you next time. Hit that subscribe, and let's go ahead and get this thing growing, and let's make changes in other people's lives, just as the Lord has done for me, and asking the Lord to do that for you. All right, I'm out.